Hi, my name is Angie Pittman. My birth name is actually Angela, and my name actually has something to do with my testimony as a targeted individual. I just found out just under 2 years ago that I'm a targeted individual. It's been actually about a year ago, year and a few months, and but I've been a targeted individual ever since I was a little girl. I just didn't know, what it was because, that's the thing about this covert program. It's a big secret. The media, you hardly ever. I myself have never seen the local media here report on um, group stalking, as it's called, or organized stalking, or network, stalking. Some people call it gang stalking. I've often referred to it as gang stalking on my Twitter page because that's how I first found out about it. That's how it was referred to. I personally address it as satanic stalking because that's exactly what it is in nature. Is satanic. Um, Whether you're a believer or not, it's actually satanic. But I have, since I've been researching, I have found about two or three reports on gang stalking. By the way, I would like to encourage you to, enter that search, check that out online, gang stalking, or group stalking, or organized, or covert stalking. Um, it's worth checking into, even if you're not a targeted individual. Chances are you know someone that is being targeted. It's one of those things that people don't talk about because it's laced in psychosis, like psychology, because it's designed to mentally tear people down. And all of this is done, all of the people that's involved with this, they are used to induce psychosis. They do all type of things to try to drive people crazy, literally. So, and it's a big secret because they know that they can face some serious charges. And it's even bigger than just individuals. It actually has some, how do I say it, like upper channels, people that are, at the higher part of the totem pole, I guess you could say. I say that because the attackers, which are usually family, friends, co-workers, the community, the medical profession, um, the city that you're living in, the workers that work for the city, and all type of private groups, corporations, businesses, anyone that they can get to. Children, believe it or not. I mean, very, very small children. So I have some notes, although I didn't. It's not very organized because I've been actually thinking about doing this for a few months. I prayed about it and I've been kind of, tossing it around. And so I'm really not as organized as I would like to be. I just want to hit on some points. I want to do this now while I have the, I guess you could say, courage, or the mindset to do it. So I don't want to keep putting it off because I'm praying that it will help some people, especially new targeted individuals. Um, so there's so many places to begin. Like I said, I've been a targeted individual ever since I was a little girl. I would like to give you some specifics on that at some point. Right now, I think it's very important to share that when I was a teenager, I became pregnant and I decided to leave the public school that I was attending to go to an alternate school for pregnant teenagers. And one of my classes is biology, and the biology teacher um, invited us to a seminar for subliminal messaging, and I was doing really good in that class. I found it to be very interesting, and so I decided that I wanted to go, and I had my mom to drop me off. I was 15 years old, which is very important to this story. Um, I'm going to grab my pen, and so that I can make sure I go back to that point. But so I went to the seminar after school. It was 2 days long. The seminar was an evening. The first class was, or session was, an evening session, and there were maybe about 15 participants. And then the instructor said that there would be more people that coming Saturday. Um, so it's been so many years ago, and I thought about the class every once in a while during these years, but not very much because I didn't have a reason to. But since the attacks from the targeting, from these perpetrators, some might call them, I call them perpetrators or attackers, Satan's human cohort. I refer to them in a lot of various ways, but when the attacks increased, I just really had to do a lot of examining, of myself, my situation, and I just had to go back and just, try to put some things together, like figure out what was going on, because I didn't know, although I had been harassed. And what I mean by harassed, literally, and I'm not even ashamed to say this now, years ago, I never ever said anything to anyone about what I'm about to say, because it just would have made me look crazy. And since, like I said, the media don't report this, you just don't hear about, it wasn't something typical, so I never mentioned it to anyone. Plus, I didn't think there was any harm, although I felt, intuitively, I felt something wasn't right. But in my mind, just because some people were following me, I didn't think that it was anything sinister, because I don't have a sinister mindset. I wouldn't follow someone to do, the things that these people have been doing to me all these years. But they literally were following me around, and going back to the point of my being 15 years old, a lot of these people, even though I was a teenager, were adults. So that should tell you something. That that's just ridiculous. That adults would be going around harassing people and actually causing harm and danger to children that they don't even know. Just for the sake of dark, satanic, and evil, and control, and as a game, because apparently this is fun to them. And just, as a human, I understand you wanting to have some fun, and even want to have a laugh, but when these adults had to know what they were doing to kids, you don't go around trying to induce psychosis, doing crazy things to people. But I'll save my comments for later. So at this class, the subject of hypnosis was brought up, and I, like the other participants, I agreed to to be hypnotized, because I really didn't think that it would have any effect. I didn't believe in hypnosis, so I didn't think anything much of it. I just looked at it as part of the game that because they fed it to us as a game, as fun. Just something, science. Remember, I was at a biology class. So shortly after that, the class was in the evening, and the instructor, before we left that class, the instructor told us, and I'm telling you guys this because I know a lot of targeted individuals that I've been reading their testimonial stories, and or watching their videos about their experience as a targeted individual, has children, and I myself was getting targeted, and I had 2 children, but I didn't know what was going on, and I wish I had known what I'm trying to tell you guys now. But um, mainly because all of these people were adults that were involved in this, doing this to this, my then 15-year-old, self. I was 15 years old, and that to me just says a lot about these people. But so the instructor told us that immediately after the class, they told us to, they divided us, they hypnotized us, and then divided us into two groups. And the instructor told us on the way out that the one group, the watchers, I don't know what they called us, maybe targets. The targeters. I don't know. Targeted individuals. I don't know. I can't recall. It's been so long ago. But the instructor told us that the watchers would be following us around, and this is a study, and to be watchful. Look out for them, because they'll not to warn us, but to let us know that we would be being watched and followed around for the sake of the study. But I think that it was to induce psychosis, to have us, the targets, to be attentive to the evil that they were doing, that these people are doing, were doing or are doing. So I remember when I left class that night, the first attack that I had ever received was one of the people was standing behind this pole, like leaning up against it, as if they were trying to hide, but as if they also wanted to be seen. So they were like dodging their head, like peeping from either side of the pole. And I remember for a fleeting moment, it scared me for a moment. I remember feeling fear, even though, these people had been being nice to me. And it just felt really bad, and I have to give God the glory for this, because He designed our bodies and minds to self-protect. And I remember at that moment, and I really thank God that I told myself in that fleeting moment, I see that person, but I'm just going to ignore them, because I'm not going to be afraid of them. And ever since then, that's the way it's been. So over the years, I would be going to the mall, going to school. My son and I, whenever we would go to the grocery store or to the mall, all of these people would just show up. And it just really got bad. So over the years, it progressed to, and like I said, I've been targeted ever since I was a little girl. And I'll go into that too, but the attacks seemed to increase during my preteen years, and then my teenage years, and then 20s, 30s, and my late 40s were just so bad. I mean, you guys, it really increased, and I really believe, it's just so evident that I met this person, because they always introduce people to you. You're always meeting people who are affiliated with this program to do you harm. And this one particular person, and I have to say this, she, because I think it has a lot to do with my testimony and with her angle that she was coming from, but she told me that she was a Catholic, and that's going to be a different video, a whole nother video, because I want to explain about that in detail. But she, in short, I really think that they are heavily involved with this covert stalking. I'm not saying all of the Catholics, that's with everything, nothing is absolute pretty much, but yeah, I've been attacked by many Catholics, and not just the Catholics, from a lot of Christians that belong to other faiths, that I now believe that some of these churches, even like some how do I say it? What the African American community refer to as sanctified churches, which are usually Pentecostal churches or apostolic churches. I believe that a lot of these churches are, and non-denominational churches are actually Catholic-run churches, but under different names. The last church that I went to and have not gone back since, after so many being attacked so many times by their psyops. In other words, psychology operations to induce psychosis. They ran me out of this one church. It's a denominational church, and like I said, with the video about the Catholic Church, I'll explain more about that. But so I will not join a church. I will not join a church, especially churches that are 501(c)(3), and I advise you to research that, because it's my belief that, it's a fact that 501(c) churches are churches that get assistance from the government, and that they are not allowed to say certain things in the pulpit. So that should tell you a lot. I do believe a lot of these churches are bought and paid for, and they're misleading a lot of their members in their churches. And some church members get upset when I talk about churches. And, that could be mostly the enemy. And it could also be the members who are not involved with the stalking, involved with this incredibly evil program. So, they get offended, but oh well, that they don't know, And a lot of these churches are blindly attacking targeted individuals because they really think that they're being helped, which is the case with a lot of these attackers. I believe that they are coerced into helping whomever is sending these orders for us to be attacked. That I believe that they lie. My research has, shown me, that a lot of people are coerced. They're tricked into attacking people because they think that they're helping, like people that are alcoholics or drug addicts, or people that are neglecting their children, or I don't know. I can't think of a lot of examples, but a lot of people think that they're helping, but they're not. But a lot of people. And I've seen, I've been around some of these people who have been attacking me, and they very much know exactly that they're being evil, and they don't mind, showing that side of them. Although they have to hide, they can't tell certain things because they know that they'll blow, even the legal community that are participants in this program, and that it begins with the elites that are actually running this country. Apparently, we don't have a government as we've been educated to believe. My research has shown me that corporations and people that own banks, people with money, in other words, they own the government, which includes the number one leader. So I wanted to share that about the hypnosis, and I believe that the hypnosis is a tool of the enemy used against us, and that the hypnosis is, I think it has something to do, it affects us to be hypersensitive to certain things to make us react. I don't know exactly. I just feel like that's the way it is, just from my experiences. So, and that's the whole object to this program. They want us under mind control. They want to control our minds. They want us to go crazy. They are aiming for, like I said, psychosis, for you to for you to be institutionalized, either mentally or criminally, or for you to be homicidal and or to commit suicide, which is not an option for me. Um, because I know that God is in control, and I know that a lot of viewers are unbelievers, and unbelievers. I get that you're afraid to trust, because we've been dealt so badly by the Christian community. However, like I said, I don't go to church, but my life, my soul is in the hands of God, and I have to have God to deal with this. If this is an atrocity, it's just, and it's so unnecessary. So I wanted to share that with you, and that let me see. Wow, I have so much to say before now. Oh, I do want to say this, that I've watched some targeted individuals, their videos, and I really appreciate I think her name is Daquita or Taquita. I think it's Daquita. However, her YouTube channel is Mystery of Iniquity. She has a beautiful way of explaining this war that we're in. Spiritually, she just, I just check her out, you guys. Again, Mystery of Iniquity. I relate to her because I was also traumatized as a child, which is a tool that, like I said, she'll explain this very well, that they use to try to make targeted individuals vulnerable to all of these attacks. And so I share, I was sexually abused as a child too. And then Nigel Nicholson, I really relate to him. My heart goes out to him and Daquita, because they have children too that are being attacked. And like I said, I had children, but I didn't realize that I was a targeted individual. I didn't have Google, and I certainly didn't have people that would validate what I was going through at the time, because they were so busy, trying to make me go crazy. My family betrayed me. People who I thought were my friends, guys that I was involved with, actually living with a perpetrator that just really he just turned my world, it was just total chaos. And co-workers, your employers are heavily, just like the Christians, they are heavily involved with this, you guys. I do want to say this, that I truly believe, like I said, from my experiences, that we all are targeted individuals, just at different levels. If you're one that just sin and you're not going to be heavily targeted, meaning, like, if you're not a threat to the kingdom of Satan, then they'll pretty much leave you alone if you're not going around spreading, information, telling the truth about what's happening out here. But like, we're all targeted individuals, even the people that are involved with this, and even the elite, the ones that are ushering this in, that are in charge of this, they are targeted, and because Satan is using them. So the employers, I'm telling you, you guys, I have lost so many jobs. I've had so many jobs. I don't even remember how many I've had. It's been that many. It's been a lot. The first incident that I can remember was way back in when I actually was working at a mental hospital. I worked in the mental health field for well over 10 years. I worked at 2 hospitals, and I at the second job, I wasn't getting attacked. And if I was, it was subtle. They were very subtle. But at the other job, yes. But yeah, a lot of these employers are in. Oh, and I was trying to say that we all have criminal records, whether they're clean or not. And I personally believe, God reveals so much when you are reading the Word and living obediently, and it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, and that's I'm saying that because these stalkers will try to guilt. They try to guilt trip you all the time. That's one of Satan's tools. So God has revealed to me that we all have social records also. So what you do socially, what you do in the privacy of your own home and life, employers are being aware of that, and they're using that on these jobs to do these attacks, to have their employees, the bosses, supervisors, and customers or clients, depending on, like in social services, which is my field, in that case it would be called client. And I'm explaining this in detail because of the attacks that I received. But and then right now I'm actually working at a cash register as a cashier, and so now the customers are coming in, and it's almost like you're just like a circus act. They're just so ready to come in and see who's on display, and it reminds me of I used to watch a lot of movies, and I had heard about the Truman Show for so many years, but never had an interest in watching it. But about 3 months ago, I finally decided to watch it because my life was starting to look like what I was hearing about the Truman Show. And believe you me, you guys, I'm telling you, all of our lives are being surveilled, whether you believe it or not. They've got some wicked technology that they actually see. I'm not trying to make anyone paranoid. I'm not trying to make anyone panic. And the bottom line is we were born into this satanic mess. God told us we were born into sin, and the rulers of this world are evil, and we have all been being watched in the privacy of our homes. And I'm going to be sharing with you just how some of the techniques that they use, and some things they have done to me. I'm going to share a lot with you, but I can't even share it with you, some of the things, because, you have to be really careful depending on the attacks that you're getting. Let me check out this time. So it's almost been 30 minutes, and I've gone a bit further than I wanted to this first intro video. But I want to say to Nigel Nicholson and to all the targeted individuals, I pray for you. I pray for you every day and often, for all of us, for the protection of God, and mainly that everyone wake up and repent unto God. Like I said, I don't go to church, you guys, but I'm telling you that even though I have a church upbringing, when I was looking for that church home, I started sinning, and I was fornicating. I was listening to all of this music. I love music. And it really, I love music so much that it hurt me when one of these ministers on Twitter said something like, music is satanic. And I was like, and he said TV, and I was like, no, you're going too far. Oh my gosh, you guys, Satan runs the world. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the term Illuminati, but bottom line is Satan. He has these celebrities that I used to idolize ever since I was a little girl, running his agenda, and they're using all of this. They're putting these subliminal satanic messages in this music that you're listening to, the words and the different instruments that they use. It's putting subliminal messages. If you do research, you'll see there's been a time I've seen a video, and maybe at some point I'll share it, where like I'm 52 years old, so back in the day when I was younger, TV didn't play all night long. At a certain time it would go off, and when it would go off, they would play the national anthem. Come to find out, they were putting subliminal messages in that song. This world is infiltrated. So yeah, you guys, someone, a lot of times I was attacked because I'm so trusting. I trust people. I literally, the last attack that I got as far as meeting someone, I met this guy about 3, 4 months ago, and yet got deceived. You know, you want to believe, because I don't walk around in duality. I don't walk around um, pretending to be something that I'm not, to trick people into sinning and into being harmed. And that's what these people do. I mean, the TV shows and movies that you're watching. I used to be an avid TV watcher. I would go so far as to say addicted to TV. You know, every weekend I would do the binge videos, the series, TV series and things. And you guys, I'm telling you, I fought hard against this, but as soon as I gave up, and like I said, it's a process, and it was very difficult. But as soon as I gave up that music, I gave up fornicating, I gave up cussing, I just stopped. Like I said, it's a process. It took like, I'm serious, you guys, it took like a year, because I had gotten so bad. I left the church, and I was around people, my family and friends who I loved, and I was heavily influenced more than I knew or cared to admit at that time. And so I started, getting their ways, cussing, and so I'll be going over this. But Nigel Nicholson, him and I am disabled, and I believe that a lot of the targets have come from that. Also, there's a lot of Social Security bashers out there. And Nigel, be strong. But I'm telling you, Nigel, if you're on your own accord, your own energy, and not God, and like I said, I know you don't trust these people, because believe me, I'm going to be sharing how the church have actually done psyops on me. They have attacked me in groups. That's another thing. Oh, it's been 31 minutes. I have to say this, you guys. Please know, and like I said, I have a Twitter page, and I'll tweet. I mainly use it to, quote scriptures and encourage, other believers, and, to be encouraged. And every now and then I'll kind of go off script somewhat, and just say, try to help the targeted individuals. And I've discovered recently, this targeting program, I think that these attackers, they're trying to scary movie us. That's how they're trying to turn our, turn our lives into, they always want to, they use fear. Fear and anger are two big things for them, and deceiving people. And my point is this: a lot of agencies, a lot of organizations or businesses and things that you know as helpers that help the community and help people in general, they are not what they seem, you guys. They have duality. And like I said, this system, everywhere you go, city to city, country from other countries, they are heavily enthralled with this Satanism. And as a targeted individual, the very people that you grew up, that you were actually under mind control to believe that they'll help you. Oh my gosh, I can tell you some stories. I just have to be careful though, because like I said, it just depends on how they're attacking you. But believe me, a lot of them, those people can be some of the worst nightmares for you. So, someone recently told me, well, a few months ago, not to trust anybody, and I struggled with that. I struggled with it. It was very difficult, but now I see what they're saying, and I just want to leave. I want to leave you with this: that as a targeted individual, if you've been isolated, or they're trying to isolate you, I just think that it's something. And when I say funny, I don't mean in a comical way, but peculiar way. To how, like for instance, in my case, that I don't have access to other people in this city that's not affiliated with this mess, which means to me they're doing some heavy manipulation, and I think it's hooked up with this nanotechnology. I think that I know that's one of the things I'm going to be sharing with you. My childhood, something that I saw when I was a child. Well, I'll tell you real quickly because I shared it with one, regretfully, with one of the targeted individuals that I went to out of desperation because, like I said, my family and friends are involved in this, and I had no one to talk to. And this person actually has videos, and I didn't know that targeted that there's fake art targeted individuals, and I went to this person after watching their videos and thinking that they were really, a targeted individual. Again, that duality, you all. Oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, so I shared this with her, and I shared this with my brother recently before her, but uh, and like I said, he's I don't trust him, but when I was a child, when I was like in the third grade, I saw some things happening in my classroom. Now, keep in mind, I'm 52. I went to school in the late 60s. I really believe I saw the technology being used in it, and that's something that always stuck with me. But I never talked to anyone about it until recently, with this targeting experience. And I can remember, seriously, you guys, this is going to sound so ludicrous. I can remember seeing, it was almost like our class, like my classmates were being manipulated. Something was happening in the class, and I'm sure I'll tell you in details later. And an adult was in this classroom, and for years I always wondered, now, how is it that this teacher is not seeing this? How are these kids, I used to wonder, I can remember literally, vividly, wanting to say, don't y'all see this? Don't y'all see that? And I'm telling you guys, it was hard for me to, like, even with this targeted individual program, this covert program, it was hard for me to just believe this thing, but I was forced to because of all the things that's been happening to me. But I said that to say this, it was hard for me to understand these chemical trails. One of the perpetrators, who acted like he was interested in me, he shared that with me about the chemical trails, and I didn't understand it. But again, back in the 60s, I remember, looking out of my window and watching the airplanes and seeing the planes, the chemicals coming out of the planes and spraying the sky. But I just thought it was, something to do with the plane. I had no idea that it was toxic, and that's a weapon against us. But so anyway, you guys, I just want to encourage you to pray for a renewed mind every day. Even if you're not an unbeliever, get up with every day is a new day. Do your research, try to do things to keep you in a positive way, because they're always throwing negativity to you and saying that you're the one that's negative. Don't let them guilt trip you. I don't care what sin you have done, what era, what fault, whatever flaw you have. The problem is not you, it's them. They have fallen for the dark side, and they're the lost ones. They're the ones that are in the wrong. And I pray for you all. Stay safe. And it took me a while, and even now, I said, you just sometimes I wake up and think, I know that, sometimes it just feels like, is this really happening, but, in my case, my strength is God. I don't know how you unbelievers are trying to do this. And this might seem like it's something off, oh my goodness, 39 minutes. This might seem like it's off the subject, but be very aware of the race wars, you guys. Don't turn on African Americans. Be careful. Granted, there is some racism, but they're trying to push us into this race war so that they can start World War III. They're trying to isolate everyone. So all of you attackers that think you're preserving yourself and you think you're protecting yourself, they got something for y'all. And not only that, I'm a believer, and even if I wasn't a believer, when you mistreat people the way you all are treating them, it's going to come back to you. And for you to have the nerve to talk about karma all the time, which, by the way, my opinion is man-made, it's manufactured by man, and but at some point I'll get into that too. When you come at me, you're coming at Jesus. You don't see him. You know, God is a spirit, and it gives me peace of mind that, you know, I don't have to fight. God is fighting for me. The scriptures tell you that. There's so much that the scriptures can reveal to you. We need to get the word of God in us. I was one. I buckled against it. I just didn't really believe that words had so much to do with us. But he